Dear sisters and brothers, salam to all. It's a joyous and amazing day for Muslims in particular and for all human beings in general to celebrate the birth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A life that encompassed all aspects of not only human life but living and non-living creatures. He was a mercy to all worlds as Allah Himself described in Holy Quran. Rahmatul lil Alameen, the mercy to all worlds. Here, the worlds means the human world, the animal world, the non living world, and His mercy to all kinds of the creatures that Allah has created on the surface of the earth. Even though the Muslims, the people around the world after the centuries and centuries have not seen Him physically, when they bath, when they're going out of their home, then come up, then they leave, then they dress up, then they remove their dresses, then they eat, drink, and in every aspect, Prophet comes to their life. This live portrait of the life, how it is possible, we can't see any human being or any human life that was exemplified in such a way in the history of the human life. Let us come to the portrait of the Prophet. Even though many millions have not seen him, they studied, they exemplified the portrait of the Prophet as it is real in their life. In modern times, we have the testimonials to express our service and our capability to the general public. And I am looking what the Prophet's companions, Prophet's wives, Prophets, even the enemies talked about him. The testimonials, that way we can call it the real testimonials. They lived with them, they experienced his life, they felt the mercy and how he lived, how he behaved, how he stood in the times of the hardships, and how he maintained the friendship. It's all these areas the testimonial says about it. The clear portrait of the Prophet. Let us look at the historical conversation between Hercules and Abu Sufyan. When the letter of the Prophet reached his court, he demanded a person from Hijaz to examine, to investigate the reality of the prophethood. By the way, Abu Sufyan and some Quraishites were at Syria for trade purpose. They were brought into the court of the Caesar. Caesar asked him many questions. Among them, he asked about the wisdom of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Sufyan was the staunch, at that time, was a staunch enemy of the Prophet. He said, his wisdom is intelligible and most understanding. We can't find any deficit in his wisdom, understanding and intelligence. When Hercules asked whether he broke the promise, Abu Sufyan was forced to admit that never in our life he did not. This is the testimonial, even from a staunch enemy. At that time, Abu Sufyan later embraced Islam, radiallahu anhu. But at that time, he was a staunch enemy of the Prophet. But he was forced to reveal the real picture, portrait the behavior of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How can we love him in such a case? Look at the companions, especially to Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. He was a servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years. He says that I was a servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years. He never said once to me, "Uff." Uff, you know, the word we use to express our contempt or resentment. He never said during one decade. That is very amazing. During the day or night, we may say like the words like "uff" to many people, but for a long time, 10 years, he never said a word "uff" to him. He continues saying that if I do something, he will not ask why you did it. If I don't do any task, he will not ask why you didn't that. This is the behavior of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to a servant. He testified that. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. Come to the another examples of the testimonials from his wife, first wife, Khadija bint Khuwailid radiallahu anha. When he was shocked at the first revelation from the Jibreel alayhi salam, he rushed to the side of his beloved wife Khadija bint Khuwailid. She embraced him and comforted him and said, by Allah, He never shall humiliate you. And she counted many reasons for that. That Wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada. Then she continues saying that you speak the truths. She counts the reasons for not humiliated by Allah. You speak the truths. You bear the burden of the needy. You join ties of relationship. You help the poor. You stand for the truths. One of his companions, Muawiyah ibn al-Hakam, says that ما رأيت معلما قبله ولا بعد أحسن تعليما من. I have never seen, neither before him nor after him, a good teacher or a best teacher than him. All these testimonials reveals before us a character, a life, a mercy, a human being that is rarest to be found out. So how can we hesitate from loving him, celebrating his mercy, celebrating his birth, celebrating his compassion, his life, his behavior? May Allah bless us all to love him, to celebrate his life, and to exemplify his all virtues into our life. Inshallah, we will meet again. Assalamu alaikum.